Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome, everyone. It is the House of the Unusual podcast. Woo! I'm Joe Pavlansky. Right over there in that corner there, we got Chuck and Cheri Caputo. And across the room over there, we have Eddie Guevara. What's up, everyone?
Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
everybody.
All right, man. Well, it's good to be back. I was on a, what would you call it? A vacation, a UFO abduction case, a Bigfoot kidnapping.
Missing in action.
Yeah.
Something like that. MIA, man. It's been a crazy summer so far.
Wow.
It's not even really summer yet. Not until June 21st?
21st. Yeah,
June
look at that.
But yeah, the warm weather months have been nuts, and yeah, so it's good to be back on here and talking with you guys, and hopefully we could talk a lot of cool pop culture stuff, and we'll see what we got on the menu for today. But Chuck and Cheri, man, guys, what's been going on? It's been a minute. I'm sure you've been keeping busy with shows and all that because tis the season, man. So what's up?
Absolutely, Joe. We finished up in May. It was absolutely ridiculous.
That was crazy.
I did maybe 23, 25 shows. It was like a show a day. It was insane.
Yeah.
So now we got a little time to breathe, and we have a little good news coming our way anytime.
We're waiting.
Our grandchild.
Our first grandchild.
Yeah.
Born soon.
Yeah, so it could be anytime.
His due date's the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, really anytime then.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're kind of staying close to home.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a lot of shows. I even turned down one that was on the due date.
Yeah, we want to make sure.
So I want to make sure I'm around. Or at least try to anyway. But yeah, so you know what, we've been busy.
And our daughter-in-law Cassie, she's still working.
Yeah, she's handling it
till Friday.
Very well.
Yeah, she's a strong girl, man.
One quick thing I did want to mention, Joe, there's an upcoming Chuck's Corner because we've been filming these in advance, so we have some time with the grandchild. We just filmed it today, so it'll be in queue probably for a few weeks down the line. It's comic book magic.
Oh yeah,
so nice.
Yeah, so,
your favorite.
You really have to see this. I mean, it's going to blow you away, man. It's really, really good.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get an Action Comics #1, rip it up, and then put it back together.
You know what? It's a very unique video, and it's a real cool piece of magic in there that's really amazing. And it deals with the mail order type of comic from the aspect of mail order. It's really, really neat. So I do some really cool magic. Yeah. So you'll get a kick out of it.
Nice.
Very cool. And I have a question for Cheri. How are the sea monkeys coming along?
Oh, they're coming along.
Are they still alive?
I think I'm down to one, and I think that's Eddie because I see a little mustache on him.
Yeah.
He's so happy. I fed him this morning.
He keeps asking you about the robot monster plan.
Yeah, it's got a little Cuban cigar hanging out of his mouth.
I started with 5 or 6. Then I don't know what happened. It was down to 3.
I don't know what happened.
Then there was 2, and now
what happened to Chuck?
We're disintegrated.
Yeah,
Joe, me, Chuck, we all left. We're gone.
I heard somebody playing taps music the other day. That must have been for me. I don't know.
Oh man.
Well, maybe there'll be some eggs down there that are going to hatch soon or something.
I don't understand.
I'll keep you guys posted on it.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since they first hatched?
It was, I got the kit in February. Mm-hmm. So a couple weeks after that, and probably end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah, probably about 3.5 months, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm so thankful I got to see this, and after all these years.
At least they hatched.
Yeah,
really.
Well, did some people have a problem?
Yeah, me. When I got them when I was in high school, I never hatched. I followed the directions. I even had an air hose in there that went to the pump and everything.
Wow.
It didn't work.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think when I did mine, there was only a few that hatched, and not too many hatched out of all the eggs that went in.
Yeah. Mine was just a complete flop. I think, if I remember correctly, my brother hatched his in beer. He just poured a like a can of beer and hatched it in there. It was unbelievable. It worked.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the kind of sea monkey I want to come back as.
Maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah,
Eddie wants some beer.
Yeah, they were drunk. They were. You know what? The sea monkeys were drunk. They were fighting with each other. And...
What you got to do, Cheri, is do one when the final one dies. You do the demise of a 50-year dream.
Oh, I know.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hang in there, buddy.
Yeah.
That's good. So you guys will not be at Monster Bash this June, right? That's going to be too close to the.
Yeah, it's coming up, huh?
Yeah, and we have a magic convention to go to here in downtown Pittsburgh. It's coming up
in July.
A
month from.
That's a month from now. It was for about 3 or 4 days. It's actually held right here in Pittsburgh downtown at the Wyndham.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be really nice.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of cool.
Magic all day and all night.
Yeah.
Love it.
So are you guys going to plan on coming to the October one for a day?
We are.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Yeah.
Okay, fingers crossed then.
God willing, yeah.
Yeah, that was always that was a lot of fun.
We had fun.
I enjoyed that.
Yep.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit more about it. Some of the events come up, and there's some movies in there that I never heard of. I'd like to get your guys' takes on a few of them and see if you guys ever heard of them, and see if they're any good or not. And then at the next podcast I'm on, whatever one, I'll give a complete rundown of everything that happened at the bash, the movies, the celebrities.
That would be cool. Yeah.
All that stuff. But before we look into any of those movies, I'm going to turn it over to Eddie over there on the other side of the corner and see what he's up to. Hey. So Eddie, take it away, brother.
All right, Joe. Yes, Joe, everything's great, man. Great to have you back on. And the most important thing is definitely, this is the most important thing. The website that originally we had, I try to migrate it over. Now it's actually, and this is, of course, I took the advice of Joe because he suggested we go over to Tappa Talk. Now, Tappa Talk is an online forum, kind of like Universal Monster Army and Horror Classics, something I think it's called, the other forum. But here's the deal. We've been on for like 2 days or so. And if one thing I'm going to tell anybody who goes on, keep voting every day. Because when you vote each day, it keeps making the site go higher and higher. And another thing, also there's a button that you hit on the right, and it gives you gold tokens. Now, what happens is when you reach a total, I think, of 5,000 gold tokens, you actually get paid money.
Oh,
so,
wow.
It's actual money that you are earning on this thing, as unlike the regular website. Another thing is a lot of people are getting, in fact, we had within the first 24 hours, quite a few people on it. And right now, I actually put some money into some ads on Facebook to try to get, hitting an average, I think, of between 450 and 600 people a day that are getting the ads. So, Joe, definitely, if you guys have a chance, put it on your social media, shoot it, because we want to get people there as much as we can. As to the regular site, it could still be found under GoShipTimes.com. I forwarded because it's still active, and I'm trying to first, before I actually delete the entire site, I got to transfer over all the emails from whatever members we have on the site. I believe it's 635, but now active members that register are 135, but members that are just signed up, it's 635. So I'm going to use an email thing so I can do a mass emailing to migrate everybody over.
Great.
Very cool.
Yeah, right now, as we're saying, we've actually reached a good thing. This thing, Joe, is the greatest idea you ever had. I mean, Cavaraj, the artist for the book cover we did for us and all that stuff, said that it's too bad we didn't do this 5 years ago. Being on Joe, like I'm saying, Joe, this is progress. Here's what's going to happen now. We have donations to members and stuff. So people that donate, we're going to put this out, and I'm going to try to incorporate that into the site within the next day or so. If you donate, you're allowed to put free ads. So let's say you want to sell items, just like Universal Monster Army. Any member that becomes a donator, whatever the minimum is a month, $5 or whatever, will get to put on free ads in case they want to sell the products. So we're trying to create a really good rapport with this. So let's hope people keep adding. And Joe, give us your take on this.
Well, I really like the Tapa Talk format on there. If you guys go on to Universal Monster Army or Classic Horror Film Board, you could kind of see it on there. We still have some work to do on our site there. I'd like to get it to where we have, and if you look at those two sites where we have different forum sections, so you might have, horror movies, mail order items, TV shows, magic, and so on, and then and so that will be like, say, the horror movies, horror and sci-fi movies. That'll be a locked forum, which means that it, an administrator will put it on there, and then under there we'll have sub threads, so you could go on there and talk about any of the movies that you want, or under the forum of magic, you could go on there and post anything you want on magic, and it's just a little way to clean it up, to keep it organized. Because if you guys remember on the last forum that we had on the website, it was just, the only way we were able to do it is you just kind of put your topic on there, and it goes to the top and moves everything down. So what we're hoping on this one is that very soon we could put forums on there, and then everybody could put their thread underneath the forum, which will keep it nice and organized. And if you guys want to see how that will work, just go to universalmonsterarmy.com or classichorrorfilmboard.com, and you can see how the threads are there.
Joe, are you familiar on how to do that? Just out of curiosity.
I have no idea. I'm not familiar with any of the usage of the Tapa Talk, their programs or anything like that.
I actually reached out to Ray Castillas. I'm trying to hear, maybe I'll hear from him today, because he was one of the originators of Universal Monster Army, and maybe he can assist me, because I know Universal Monster Army, I think for some reason they're run of Tapa Talk as well. I'm going to check it out, but I
would say the best thing is at the bottom of the Tapa Talk, you could go, they have a support forum or a way to contact them. I would get a hold of Tapa Talk and ask them those questions. I'm not familiar with the I'm not that good with computer programs, first off, but I've never used Tapa Talk before on the side of setting it up. I've used it, of course, for the forums and all that, but setting it up, I have no clue.
I think, to be honest with you, I think the way it is, when you start a topic, everybody that will be discussing that topic will be hitting that topic, and then there's you can continue the thread under that topic. So I'm making you an administrator, so I'm going to also make Chuck, if you're able to, Joe, I guess, when you start a topic, what I did ask how you could put that for sale and rental thing on. I did ask support for that. So probably I have to look up the email after this to see what they tell me. I did mention it because I believe, for some reason, I don't know why, but I think, judging from the classic horror fan list, whatever that one's called, that has like 30 or 77,000 members, and Universal Monster Army, which are both on Tapa Talk, I think Universal Monster Army, really, believe it or not, is just Tapa Talk itself. I think that's why the site, because I think the site was hosted originally in another different place, and they merged it onto Tapa Talk because of the cost, which, believe it or not, it could be free. You don't have to have we have a paid subscription to have extra benefits, but I have to see what you're saying, Joe, because I think it's when you start a topic, everything under that topic will be the same thing. I know what you're saying.
The administrator has to go on there, which would be you.
No, you have administrative.
I'll have to look at it then, and because I'm not familiar with the program, but there has to be because other sites have done it where you do a forum and then you have the sub threads under that, which is just a way of cleaning it up. Because right now we have it where if you post something, it goes right to the top, so it kind of keeps moving everything down like a little conveyor belt kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it only started 2 days ago, so now that you said that, Joe, I'm gonna look into that to clean it up and stuff. But like I said, probably later,
Yeah, so we're working on it, everybody. Everybody out there, we're working on it. It's a work in progress, but hey, come on over and join us, man, because it's it's only getting better. So
right, I'm going to say one final thing. I will be able to clean that up because all the topics that are there can be put under subtopics, like you said. We'll just make that's interesting, Joe. I'm gonna when I get off the show right now, I'm gonna actually go and hit that to see what what could be done there because it's not that complicated. In fact, I'm shocked we didn't do it earlier, man.
Yeah.
So glad that we found that, and so everyone keep a lookout for that. Join it now, and you could still post on there. And once we start adding the forms and all that, it'll just it'll be put underneath that form, and it'll become a sub thread.
One thing I'm going to just add real quick to that, Joe. It also has an app. So people can actually download the app for Topic Talk and follow us on the app. I think that's the main thing of Topic Talk because it has an app.
Yeah, it works really well on iPads. I don't have it on my phone, so I don't know. I don't even know if they make
you have it on your phone, right, Cheri?
I do.
Yeah, I have it on the phone, Joe.
How does it work on the phone?
The same as your iPad.
Yeah, you just thing. Yeah,
Is it pretty user friendly though on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
perfect.
As far as I know.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because I like it on the What's nice about on the app, if nobody out there ever used it, is that you have, say, if you joined 10 forums and they're under Tappa Talk, you could go on your Tappa Talk app and it will have all the forums listed. So you could just click them there and it takes you right to whatever forum you click without having to, go on your internet, type in the address. You could get it all right there. So like when I log on to mine, I have Universal Monster Army and then Classic Horror Film Board, and then I could pick each one I want. And then I could also look at it's been a little while since I've been on, but I think it's discussion, and it'll list everything from both of the forums on there, what's new. Okay. So I could just read it, click on there, and it's real nice for the iPad. I'll have to get it for the iPhone and check it out.
I have to see more about it. And then also when you're saying that, what was it, the Cult Classics or is on there?
The Classic Horror Film Board.
Classic, yeah, I saw that. But also House of the Unusual, there's a board there too. And that's where I was posting under the House of Unusual. My Sea Monkeys and also the is that right?
Well, no, when you see House of the Unusual, that's just me posting. It doesn't mean that that's you can post it. You could just post and start a new topic. But what Joe says makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to work on it, Joe. And you know what? Once I find out how, Joe, since you know how to do better and you get the administrative things, if you make the boards, it'll be great. Because the only problem with Universal Monster Army that I think it's just overwhelmed with too many topics. It's a little bit too you should have general discussions, movies and horror,
right?
Big book novelties. Have like maybe 5 or 10, but not 40 or 50 like they have in Universal Monster Army. That's why it's a little confusing.
So you're thinking the Classic Horror Film Board, they have like 40 of them. Universal has, I think, maybe 12, I believe, something like that, 12 or 15. But Classic Horror Film Board, yeah, they just revamped it and they added a crap ton. It's almost overwhelming. Hopefully for ours, what we could do is just add, just starting off, maybe 5 or 6, movies, TV shows, magic, mail order, and like a general discussion, or maybe like a conspiracy, UFO, cryptozoology topic, something like that.
Well, yeah, something like that. And you know what we could also have, Joe? This is very important. We could have the JECC Awards, and whoever gets it at the end of the year for the best topic or whatever, they'll win a free 6-foot Frankenstein or Dracula of their choice in full color. And that's Joe, Eddie, Chuck and Cheri Award. JECC Award.
The Jack Award.
Jack Award, yeah.
The Jack Award.
We're definitely going to do that, Joe. I'm actually going to create in 3D printing or something, some type of award for it. I have a friend of mine who I told last night, and he's going to design it. I think it's going to, he was saying in 3D, he wanted to design, where in the back it will have the House of the Unusual. Of course, it's all going to be one color, so it's going to have to be painted or something. And it's going to have our 4 faces in the front.
That would be cool.
and it's going to be about 4 to 5 inches tall, and it'll be an award. It'll be real cool, man. It'll be like a trophy. That'll be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's what we got working on, everyone, for our forum and Tapa Talk. So it is a work in progress. So, give us a chance here, but still come on there and join us and be on the lookout for a lot more cooler stuff. So, Eddie, what else is going on at House of the Unusual?
Other than changing the entire site, that's it. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is we got to revamp the YouTube channel because we've been stale on the subscriptions as of last month. We're getting two, which is not really what we want to get 100 a month. We want to get 500. And I think it's really because the summer months, people move around and now it starts picking up in like August, September is the kicking in month. So my goal is by September to really be ramping up everything. And Joe, I'm going to really start doing videos. I have Jude Cambries, who actually Jude was on our show. He was one of the first people to be on our podcast as a guest, if you remember, from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Jude is a phenomenal guy. He's 60 years old, great guy. He loves Aurora Monsters. And the thing with him is he travels every state because of his job. And what he's doing, he just drives crazy amounts of miles to get free thing. He got 6 original Aurora Monsters for an unbelievable price. Original. And he picked up a Dracula the other day, and he picked up a Green Ghost game. Well, he's going to actually be just like Chuck's Corner. I think I'm going to get him where he's going to have a day a week where it's going to be, let's say, Jude Cambries Travels or
nice.
something like that. But he's the guy that's looking at when you see the thread in the House of the Unusual now, he's the one that has the little hat on. He's got the ghost and he's got the bulging eyes coming out. He's really funny. He's a great guy. One of the best people I actually ever met in person. And I'm going to reward one thing I'm going to do, guys. And Joe, I'm hoping that we can work all on this. I've already picked the month of July. I've asked for 2 days off to have 4 total. I'm driving down to Pittsburgh. I need to meet you guys. So it's just going to be one day. I'm going to stay overnight and then come back the next day because I can't do 5. I'm getting too old now for a 10-hour drive for a 1-hour meeting. So try to see Joe where we can kind of rendezvous because I know you're an hour away from Pittsburgh. And I guess we can kind of meet where Chuck is and go to his storage. And then
we'll go to the storage unit. That'll be cool, man.
We'll hypnotize him into giving us free stuff.
Yeah, as long as you guys give me a little heads up, I could try to work with my schedule at work and get a day or so off.
That would be great.
Summertime's tough because everybody wants to take vacation, and
right.
As long as I have a little bit of time, I could probably finagle something. So
yeah, that's what
if it's like, hey man, I'm coming in tomorrow. Could you take off? That might be kind of tough.
Yeah, you got to know ahead of time.
Yeah. Hey, I'm an hour away from Pittsburgh. Can you make it there?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Believe me, I've had people do that to me where they're like, hey man, we're all doing this and this tonight.
Yeah.
Could you make it? I'm like, dude, I gotta work. How long do you guys know about this? Oh, for 3 weeks. Why didn't you let me know 3 weeks ago?
Well,
I know. Yeah, we've had stuff like that happen too.
Joe, I'm going to tell you. I was going to surprise you and head down to the Monster Convention, Monster Bash, but I had some situation in my house that it was kind of a family emergency kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I had to cancel my car rental and everything because I was going to shoot Monster Bash for 1 day. I was going to come back the next day. I was going with my buddy. And we decided that, no, we won't be able to. Unfortunately, in October, that's why I need to meet you guys before then, because in October, I'm actually holding a table in Schiller for the first time ever. And Joe, we're going to have your face in a huge 10 feet by 6 in the back. So get ready to have fun, man.
I think you want people to go to the booth, not scare them away.
No, that's the whole thing. It's a horror show, so we got to have the biggest, best one there. They're going to go, what's that? Oh,
they'll say God. The House of the Unusual booth, the first booth in Chiller history to not have one person added the whole weekend.
That'd be fun.
That'll definitely put us in the next level. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you mentioned Monster Bash, and I tell you what, I was looking at, because I'm like a kid at Christmas, so every day I'm looking at the schedule, seeing, hey, man, what's going on? What I'm trying to plan out my days and everything, and it's I tell you what, there's a lot of cool movies on here that I'm not familiar with, and I don't want to discuss too much of them right now because I'd like to save that for after the bash, so I could, we could talk like a little review and all that. But I just want to get your guys' opinions and see if you guys have seen these movies, have any quick thoughts on them. Was it good? Was it bad? Indifferent? Anything like that? And I tell you what, I'm gonna go right off the monsterbashnews.com website. And just read their kind of like their little blurbs on there about the movie. So there are some that I've heard of, like The Return of the Vampire from 1943 with Bela Lugosi, which that was a great movie. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. He's back. He's a full throttle vampire in this, so you don't want to miss that one. But the first one that I came across that's premiering on Friday there at 12:30 p.m. It's a movie called Vampire from 1931. Are you guys familiar with this?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar. The name sounds familiar.
I saw that film so long ago, Joe. It's crazy.
When did you see it?
Probably in the 2000s, man. No. In fact, there's one that it says Vampire, and it kind of also resembles the lady that looks like Morticia Adams on Pyra.
Okay.
There's another guy, Joe.
So I'm gonna read just a little blurb that they have. So it's a Danish film of doom, ghosts, and vampires. A slow-paced, symbolic, and frightening film. David Gray, traveler, stops at a country inn in a small village and becomes involved in a web of vampirism, nightmarish imagery. It says, note, this film will be introduced by lifelong fan Mike Adams. Mike will discuss various aspects of this piece of horror art and point out a mystery in the film that maybe you can solve during the viewing. So I'm kind of interested to see what this mystery is in the movie. I tried to look it up online to see if there was anything talking about a mystery, and I didn't find anything. So I'm really intrigued. But Chuck, Cheri, are you guys familiar with this movie at all?
Like I said, the name sounds familiar, but I've never seen it personally.
No, but that sounds neat though.
Yeah,
a mystery. I love mysteries.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm definitely interested to see what they have to say. And I looked at some of the videos online, and it looks, I tell you what, it looks really, really spooky. We'll put it that way. Just the use of shadows and everything. It looks like it's going to be good. So I can't wait to see this one. Let's see. What do we have next? So after that, the Return of the Ape Man, 1944, which, I've seen that a million times with Bela Lugosi. I love it. It's a classic, B movie fun. White Zombie. I'm sure we've all seen that 20 or 30 times, which is another great movie. Black Friday. I'm sure we've all seen that as well. Where are we at now? Let's see what else we got coming up. So they have a I don't know how familiar you guys are with Mexican monster movies. I've watched a few. Actually, Monster Bash actually got me into the Mexican monster. And I tell you what, if you guys haven't watched any Mexican monster horror movies from, I would say the 40s, 50s, check them out because they are absolutely crazy.
Wow.
A lot of times they ripped off, Universal monsters and all that. And but I tell you, they do have a lot of history of their own, like El Vampiro, which the vampire was the first use of fangs in cinematic history on a vampire. So, and that was, I think, from that might have been the 40s or so. I'd have to look it up, but so there's a lot of history. I mean, they're B movies and all that. Some of them are a little like B plus movies, I guess you could call it. But there are some history in it, and I tell you what, they're very spooky. Their use of the shadows and the imagery and the sets, they're fantastic, and they're just downright creepy, a lot of them. So this one I've never heard of before, The Mysterious Doctor from 1943.
And I heard of that.
Have you?
Yeah, it's part of the collection, the horror collection that I bought one time, and East Coast Video, whatever that was, or the video store.
Is that the 50 movie collection?
Yeah, I think it is the 50 movie collection. Joe, it's the problem with that movie in particular is because it's overexposed. It's like really bright white and black, so it's not the greatest to watch. But it's kind of like a decent storyline, you know.
Well, some of the images I've seen are creepy. I'm going to read the little blurb here. So it stars John Loder, Eleanor Parker, and Bruce Lester. This movie has one of the creepiest scenes from 1940 cinema, a walking headless corpse through a graveyard.
Ooh.
It's basically a wartime espionage film in a little British village. A strange mystery surrounds characters that meet in a little country pub. A real fun programmer from the 1940s with lots of fog-shrouded scenes.
Yeah, that sounds neat. Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, these Mexican monster movies are fantastic. Just the eerie mood that a lot of them set, and the monsters are just sometimes, you know, the story's a little lacking, but man, they're fantastic. And maybe, you know, one of these times one of these podcasts we'll get into a little bit more, and I'll recommend some Mexican monster movies, because there were some that were a lot higher than the B movies that are you know, like El Vampiro, which is a little bit higher than the B movies, but they were, you know, I guess how would you say, they were kind of like main movies for Mexico at that time.
You know, Joe, Ray Castillas, which is everybody knows that he's the leading top stone mask collector probably in the world, because I think he's got every single one of them. He played that vampire from Mexico. What do you call it? With the hat on, something Joe, Coffin Joe.
Oh yeah.
He used to play Coffin Joe. It's not Joe Path, guys, but it's Coffin Joe, and you know, he's pretty well aware of those films, and he's kind of an expert in that as well.
Awesome, cool, yeah. So we'll get into one podcast more the Mexican monster movies.
Now, Joe, at this upcoming Monster Bash, do they still have the same format? Like on a Saturday morning, you get your little box of cereal and you watch cartoons and all the things like that. That was kind of neat.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I just got into Saturday, so Saturday morning is morning cartoons and cereals from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So
that was, you know what, that was really neat. I mean, they played Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And
love Scooby.
Yeah, I love the commercials. The commercials they played.
Oh yeah,
they do.
Yeah, there was even a few that I had. I can't remember which ones, but I remember sitting there and going, man, I've never seen, you know, a few of these episodes of the cartoon. So
definitely.
Yeah,
that was really cool. So they have that Saturday morning, and then they have 2 TV shows. One I haven't seen yet, which is The Night of the Golden Cobra, 1966. And this is James West, played by Robert Conrad, and Artemis Gordon, played by Ross Martin, are up against Mr. Psy, which is played by... What's that?
They both played together at Wild Wild West.
Oh, really?
Yeah, program I used to watch.
Yeah, that was one of Cheri's favorite programs.
Nice. So you might be interested in this, Cheri, but Mr. Psy is played by Boris Karloff. So
wow,
you have a full... and it even says on here, this was the first episode of Wild Wild West shot in glorious full color. So, Cheri, there you go, man. You're on top of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Wagner.
Well, Conrad, Robert Conrad.
Yeah.
What's the name of that movie?
It's a TV show.
Oh.
So it's the first episode of Wild Wild West in color, and the episode title is The Night of the Golden Cobra from 1956.
Hey, Joe, I have a question for you. Why did they make so many films, horror films, in the 40s and 50s? Do you have any idea?
To make money.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying because it's so many, it's crazy. Like you get hundreds.
I guess that's what the people wanted, right?
Yeah.
Scared.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
You know anything else, Eddie? Is there something different of what?
The horror films from then and now?
Yeah.
Well, the black and white, I think, made it more scary than the present ones, because there's one from Alfred Hitchcock when there's a guy that they showed the stairs upstairs, like in a house. And when they're showing the camera going upstairs, you see a shadow and you see a knife go up in the air and plunge down, and it made me shake, man.
Oh yeah, I like Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah. I like his stuff.
I see that on my staircase all the time when I go up to bed at night. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Rain's going on here.
Yeah, I'm hiding in the shadows. Hey, but that's cool. Joe, see if he lives on a train. Robert Conrad.
If he lives. Okay, yeah, I'll have to see, because I've never seen Wild Wild West. But speaking of trains, there's a TV show on right after that, and it's called Wagon Train, the Tobias Jones story from 1958. Have you guys seen this one?
No, haven't heard it.
No, we've talked about this because I think they played this last year or the year before at Monster Bash, and it's not really a horror show per se, but it has the amazing Beverly Washburn co-stars with Lou Costello in his only dramatic role.
Are you kidding?
In this touching drama.
I have it, Joe. I have it. I know what film you're talking about.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before, and he plays. Man, I tell you what, he plays like a drunkard, and there's this little girl, Beverly Washburn, who kind of, she really touches his heart, and he wants to change for her. And it wraps around this whole murder mystery during the show. But man, I'm gonna tell you what, you're gonna see Lou Costello, and you never realize the range of acting that he had until you see this show on here.
I saw the movie. Have you seen it, Joe?
Yeah, I seen it last time they played it, which was either last year or the year before.
Okay, do you like it? I thought I hadn't seen it, but yes, I did. Do you like it, though? Do you like Costello's performance as a serious actor?
I thought he was fantastic. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
I wasn't happy with him not being a funny actor, and when I saw that, I know what you're saying. It's a good film. It's kind of like when you look at this film with Clint Eastwood, the last one he did, Gran Torino, where he gets shot at the end. It was like, what? It would have been an awesome film if it wasn't Clint Eastwood. I kind of have a little reserves in the fact that Costello, to me, I don't know. I don't think that he was fit for that role. He did a good role, don't get me wrong, but I didn't like the film because it didn't portray him though I'm used to seeing him.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's so used to seeing him in playing the comedic role. And in this film, it's just a total 180.
Yeah, I'd have to check that out. I've never seen it.
Yeah, no.
You know what? He is one of the funniest guys I've ever seen in my life.
But not when it comes to this film.
No.
Yeah, when this film, he's dead serious, and I, like I said, it shows the range of his acting capabilities, because you're so used to seeing him in these, these goofy comedic roles, and then he's in this, and you're like, holy crap, like he could actually do both.
Wow.
Right, yeah. So let me ask you a quick question. Cheri, you were going to say before, you never actually finished. What's the difference between then and now with the films? When I said some.
What?
You said, Eddie, do you see a difference? Because I said, remember, and then you never really answered what you were going to say.
Yeah, tell them.
I don't remember.
You don't? Oh, my gosh. Go ahead, Joe. No more interruptions.
All right. So next up, we have a TV show, Thriller. And the episode is called The Prediction from 1960. And it's a phony psychic, Boris Karloff, who inexplicably suddenly can predict the future. His visions include something horrible for his lovely assistant, played by Audrey Dalton. And they say it's a wonderful episode, and Monster Bash guest of honor, Audrey Dalton, is terrific. So Audrey will be there, which I believe she's doing a talk as well. So hopefully she talks about the show. But I've seen a few thrillers here and there, and I think they're all fantastic for the time, for the 60s. But the Prediction, I don't believe I've ever seen it. Have you guys?
No.
Joe, what was the name of that film that you one time told us with Boris Karloff that I went crazy when I saw the posters for it? It's like a bluish or greenish poster. He's like some type of zombie or something. Do you know the name of that?
Oh, that's The Body Snatcher.
No, it was not The Body Snatcher. It was something that was just him in it. And it wasn't The Old Dark House.
Because I know The Body Snatcher is green and white.
No. This one is actually just Boris Karloff, and he has a green. He's like he looks like Lurch in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck was that called, man? Well, anyway, forget it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You got me thinking. Well, you guys got computers. Check it out. Maybe before the end of the show, you can tell me. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, we have The Mummy's Hand, 1940, which I'm sure
I saw that.
You guys have all seen The Mummy's Hand, I hope.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if we didn't, we might have to have a little time. That's a staple of Universal, monsters. So next we have Of Mice and Men, 1939, which, surprisingly, I've never seen this movie.
Neither did I, Joe.
Oh, you read the book.
I read the book.
Yeah, we had to read that in school.
That's Steinbeck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it says the classic Steinbeck novel, brilliantly brought to life on screen by Lon Chaney Jr., Burgess Meredith, and director Louis Milestone. Two drifters, played by Meredith and Chaney, take on work at a farm. Chaney, the lovable but mentally challenged brute, doesn't know his own strength, which had got him in big trouble in the past.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's an excellent story. I mean, I'd like to see that. Even the Warner Brother cartoons had the two cats. Remember the real big one?
Yeah.
Hey George. That was based on that.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I tell you what, they played this one maybe 2 years ago, and I bowed out. I chose not to watch it because I went around, I think, the dealer room. But I'm gonna try to catch it this time. Because I keep hearing people talk about it, and I see it on different forums and all that, and everybody says it's a great movie. So I definitely want to check it out. And plus, you have Lon Chaney Jr. and Burgess Meredith in it, so it's got to be fantastic. I mean, anytime I could watch a young Burgess Meredith at work, I love it, because you just look at him and you're like, in a few years you're going to be training boxing champion Rocky. So you gotta love him, man. So yeah.
What about Batman?
Yeah, when he was the Penguin.
I tell you, Joe, you mentioned the 50 horror films in that pack. I do recommend anybody who can get a hold of that pack. I'm telling you, quite a few of those unknown films are really good films. They're like really good. Like you're like, what? But enjoyable.
Yeah, they do have some cool films in there. All right, so our next one is another thriller episode, which is Hay Fork and Bill Hook. So it says, on the Welsh border, an old man suspected of witchcraft is gruesomely murdered with a hay fork and bill hook. The Scotland Yard inspector investigating has to wade through a morass of superstition to uncover the killer. But when his wife, played by Audrey Dalton, starts having visions of the black dog, harbinger of death, the locals focus their suspicions on her. An atmospheric and creepy episode. So I'm very interested to see that. Some of the photos look really cool.
Yeah. Wow.
I like the dealer room at that convention. It wasn't real crowded. I don't know if it is, now when you go, but when I was there in October, when Cheri and I were there, it was nice. I mean, you could actually walk through at a leisurely pace.
Yeah, you weren't mauled over.
No, at the Magic Convention we went to back in, was it January?
Yeah, it was a sea of people.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was shoulder to shoulder. You had to stand on your tippy toes or tilt sideways just to see anything.
You know what? June will get a little bit more busy, but it's not usually where you can't move in there. Sometimes on Sunday, it might get a little packed because everybody's trying to do, their last run through before they leave.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just a little bit more busy than October. June's the big one, so more people come in June than October.
That's surprising.
Yeah, because it's since their inception, it's been June, so it's everybody's plus they get their summer breaks and all that, or their vacation over the summer, so that's why you get more at June. October, I always say October's for us diehards, man. When we hit the June and the October, but it's it just gets a little bit more busy. It's not too bad. They do a great job of how everything's spread out there, so you're not just I've been to some conventions, like I'm sure you guys have been too, where you're shoulder to shoulder, and you can't see nothing, and you're just like, I'm ready to leave.
You know what's a very common thing? My friend said, it made me laugh because I realized it's true. Every time you are in front of a line, you're trying to get to a star. There's always some dude, big overweight guy with a backpack in front, filled with stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Eddie,
yeah.
I remember now what I was asking you.
Uh-oh.
You
Oh,
were saying, you asked Joe about why do you think there was so many horror films made back in the 50s?
that's correct.
Okay, and do you know why?
No, why?
No, I don't know why.
Oh, you were asking me what? Oh,
I thought maybe you knew something.
no. So you just wanted to have a question upon a question. I got it. I have no idea.
It's all about the money, supply and demand.
That's what we figured out, right?
Yeah.
Questions here. I don't know.
All right. So the next movie is The Devil Commands from 1941. Anyone familiar with this?
No.
So this is Boris Karloff starred in many a Mad Doctor film, in particular for Columbia Studios in the 1940s. But the one that has always stood out in all of our horror movies is The Devil Commands, an amazing conglomeration of science, supernatural, insane angst, and an all-out eerie scenes. In fact, this machine to capture lost souls with dead bodies in metal suits with a whirling tornado of ghosts brings up visions of the climax in Raiders of the Lost Ark. A hurricane of otherworldly power and the film is introduced by historian and author Tom Weaver. You know what? After reading that description, I have seen this movie. I believe this is the one where he is working at his machine and he's strapped in and he turns it on and the there's like a whirling tornado that starts pulling him away. So I have seen this one. It's been a little while, so I don't remember too much of it, but I do remember that I liked the movie. So I'm definitely going to capture this. And it's a late movie playing at 12:15 in the morning. So I'm all for it. But
Nice.
yeah, I remember bits and pieces of it. So I'm going to definitely check it out. All right, going into Sunday morning, we have the film shorts of Our Gang, which, gosh, I could watch Our Gang all day long.
Yeah, you love those.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah. So then they have the Legend of Boggy Creek from 1972.
I have that.
Have you guys seen this one?
Yeah,
I believe so.
That started the Bigfoot legend and the Bigfoot folklore.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? This is I believe they played it last June, and I didn't get a chance to see it because there was something else going on. I think I might have been in the dealer room, but they're playing this 11 a.m. on Sunday, so I may try to catch this one here. I'm not, as I've said before, I'm not too big of a fan of 70s movies. There has to be certain aspects of them for me to watch and enjoy. I don't know why. It's just, one of those things. So I may try to catch it. The lady that she was part of the movie, she's going to be there. Pamela Pierce. She's doing a Q&A after that. So we'll check it out. But I tell you what, right after that, which I'm going to make sure I do see at 1:00, is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein from 1948. And this one is in living color.
Wow.
Which I have never seen it in color. And I tell you what, I've discussed it before, and I think we've talked about this before, is that I'm not a fan of colorization of black and white movies.
Huh.
I hope it's not the same thing when I saw it in 4K that I was kind of turned off by it.
But yeah, I'm interested in seeing this in color. I really like to see what more or less I want to see what the costumes look like at that time in color. So what do you guys think of, real quick, of colorization of black and white movies?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either, to be honest with you. I mean, it would be almost a crime if you colorize the Twilight Zones.
Yeah.
It has a certain charm to it, but there were a couple of the Our Gang comedies that I seen recently. They were colorized, and they weren't too bad. I was surprised.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not too big on them, but I like to see it once, like I said, just to see what the costumes look like, and basically to see Bela Lugosi in color in it. So
yeah, that would be cool.
Joe, we spoke about that, I think, in a podcast not too long ago. And I got to tell you the truth. I guess it's all the experience. I had a bad experience watching Abbott and Costello in 4K. It seemed like it was too real. It made it seem like dark shadows.
Right.
Which is looks like somebody used a movie camera and did it in their thing. But I got to be honest, I don't know about it being colorized. I know that if you look at the House on Haunted Hill in color or black and white,
I didn't care for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same kind of thing, you know, but I prefer the black and white a little bit. But you know
I do
what?
too. I'm not opposed to watching it once, but you know that's it. You know,
Yeah, exactly. That's
the
it.
movie was made for black and white. I don't, you know, I'll see it in color, but that's not how I want to watch it.
Joe, I'm going to recommend something to you. There's a movie I don't know you brought up. I don't know if you finished your list, but there's one called The Incredible Mr. X from the 1940s. It's a hell of a film.
I'll have to check that out. I don't know if I'm familiar with that. Incredible.
It's horrible camera because it's like really overcast and white, but it's got an alien comes over, takes over the body of a man. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Now, I want to know if you guys have seen this. This is the last film on here, and this is the one I'm really interested about. One, because I'm not really a fan of horror comedy, but this one seems intriguing, and it's called The Smiling Ghost from 1941.
No.
Anybody?
No, doesn't sound familiar.
So it says, one of the few successful comedy horror mixes, a good-natured young man is hired to appear to be, in quotes, marrying a wealthy young woman. Of course, there's a series of hitches and reasons that involve a haunting. The smiling ghost is not at all funny, but a glowing, hideous-faced creature that lurks and kills. Scary underlighting and some real shocks with the ghost. A cast of great character actors, including Bruce from the Mad Ghoul. So I'm kind of interested in this. It looks, or it sounds like it might be pretty good.
Sounds great.
And I never heard of it, and it's from 1941. So yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, I'm not big on, which I think we talked last October, Chuck. Because what was that one there? I didn't want to see with Don. Was it Don Knotts?
Oh, you mean the
Ghost and Mr. Chicken?
Yeah, I got that tape.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Oh gosh, yeah, I couldn't.
I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah, we like it. I don't know why. It's just
what's that guy that plays that Svengali? What's his name? The movies, the monster movies.
Svengoolie had it on just recently.
Yeah, and I taped it.
Really?
I want to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
and you taped a few too. What,
yeah.
The two heads and the.
Yeah, the thing with two heads. Yeah, that was really cool. That's with Rosie Greer and Ray Milland. It's a 1972 movie. It's really cool, man.
I was going to tell you guys something when you were talking about Bigfoot. The Legend of Boggy Creek, the only problem that movie has is that it's got a horrible graphics. Like the poster's terrible. But I was going to tell you, Cav in 1998, maybe in 2000 and something, was asked by me if he could put together. There was a film called The Curse of Bigfoot, which is really a cheap, film from the 70s, but there was never a poster made for it. So he designed the poster. And it's like I only designed like 10. I sold 3. One of them was Ray Castiles. Another guy in Universal Monster Army that went by Toy Ranch got one as well. And I have it actually for sale on eBay. And that poster it's actually the only poster that they ever made of that film. It's kind of interesting to tell you that. It's there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the last one on the list. So I'm excited to see these movies and shows because it's always cool to see stuff you haven't seen, of course. We all love that. So
Joe, the movie is The Ghoul. The Ghoul is
okay, The Ghoul, yeah.
Boris Karloff. That you really threw me into a headspin when you showed me that movie, Joe.
Yeah.
You had me looking for a poster of it all over the place, man. I was like, curses, Joe.
Yeah, that was from 1933.
Yeah. The film itself, I didn't get to see it completely. I started, it looks like, so. But the posters for that film are phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I've seen The Ghoul, gosh, 100 times. Yeah, it's the green and white one, and Boris Karloff's his head's in the middle. He looks like almost like a zombie type.
Right, and you did not remember, Joe? Oh my gosh, Joe.
I'll get my lashings later.
I like the part of Monster Bash too, Joe, where you try and stump the panel, where you're thinking of a movie and they ask you a few questions. And I tell you, that's a good panel. They came up, they nailed every one of them just about.
Oh, those guys are great. Yeah, they're doing that again on I'm trying to flip through here and see, because they have a few different game shows going on during the week. So I think they're doing that one on Friday. Where's My Monster? They're doing that at 10 p.m. And for those that don't know out there, and this is a game you could even play at home. So it's what somebody does they pick somebody from the audience, and they have a panel of 3 people, and then there's a guy that who he kind of does the announcing and all that. So the person from the audience will write on the panel a monster, say Dracula, and they'll show the audience, but the 3 on the panel don't know what the monster is. So they have 20 questions to ask to try to figure out who the monster is. So the way it works is that, say it's me, Chuck, and Cheri. If I ask a question and it's I get a correct answer, like say the monster's Dracula, and I'm thinking, is the monster human? And they say,
right,
yes, then I could go on and ask another question. But if I say, is the monster a sea creature, and they say no, then
the
Chuck
next person
is next. Yeah.
If they ask you a question, is the monster the first vampire ever? Would you?
there you go.
Yeah, if you got it right off the bat, you'd be set.
Yeah, you'd be set, man.
Yeah, but you get 20 questions total for all 3 people to get it. And Chuck, am I right? These guys are just amazing.
Oh, they nailed it right. You know what? I'd like to try and do the Dr. Phibes one with them and see if they get it. They would probably get it, but that'd be kind of cool. I
tell you what, they've showed some monsters in there. I'm like, there's no get it in 5 or 6 questions. Boom, they've got it.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good.
Thing with the Dr. Phibes and that movie in particular, the Dr. Phibes, and what is the other one? The House of Wax is so similar.
It's similar. It's similar, yeah. I'm obsessed with Dr. Phibes. I'm obsessed with the movie Freaks and Laughing Cell. So those three things.
Speaking of Freaks, they're going to have the DVD in stock at Monster Bash.
Oh, good.
Oh, Joe, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Joe, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk about you. I was going to say I actually got a copy for Joe, and I forgot to send it to him, man.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
but,
that's good.
Joe, you have to watch this movie. I'm telling you, it's
I'm trying to get. I've been trying to get it, man. I just watched a little documentary on what's his name, Schlitzie.
Oh, I love Schlitzie.
Yeah, yep. I watched a little. There's a quick documentary on him. I think it's like 15-20 minutes on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I tell you, very interesting character. Very sad his life of what he had to go through.
Yeah, right.
And but he was interesting. He lived well into his 70s.
Oh yeah, he would drink whiskey and so forth. He's what they would call a pinhead.
Right.
And you know what? All the characters on there was Minnie Haha, which is the cuckoo bird girl that that danced and so forth. It was just a cool movie, man. It was just.
Is that Lobster Boy on there?
When is Monster Bash? Sorry.
What's that?
When is Monster Bash?
Monster Bash is next weekend, June 16th through the 18th. Yeah. So I am on my countdown now. It's at the for everyone out there who's interested, it's at the Marriott Pittsburgh North, and you could go to monsterbashnews.com. It'll pop up right there. You could see the schedule. They have links for the lodging, for the guests that will be there, the different dealers that will be there. So June is always jam packed. They have 150 vendor tables. The admission at the door is $25 a day or $60 for all 3 days. And I tell you what, it's well worth it for everything that's there. You guys don't want to miss it. Yeah. And guys, hey, we're at our bitter end here. Unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. But I tell you what, the next podcast that I'm on, I'll have a full rundown of Monster Bash and everything that was done there, so you guys could live vicariously through me, and then start getting excited for October Bash.
Honestly.
Yeah. So, guys, hey, thanks for joining us. Everybody out there in podcast land, thank you again for joining us at House of the Unusual. Much appreciated. So, whatever platform you're listening to us on, please subscribe to us. Give us a good 5-star review. And, hey, guys, remember, we have moved houseoftheunusual.com to Tapatalk. our forum thread there. It's still under construction, a work in progress, but you can go on there. You could join, you could post on there and do all the other cool stuff that we talked about at the beginning of the program. And if you don't remember what that is, well, that's a perfect opportunity to go back through the show and re-listen to everything. Yeah. So Chuck, Eddie, Cheri, everybody out there, thank you guys for joining us. Have a great week. Enjoy this beautiful weather that we're having, because we know winter's just right around the corner, which I can't wait for. I'm waiting for the snow, man, because this sun and heat ain't doing it for me. Guys, thanks for joining us, everybody out there. Thank you so much. And take care and enjoy the rest of your week, guys.
And Ski, don't forget number 9. We're waiting for you, Ski. Stupid Comics number 9. God bless.
Bye.